Welcome to Let's Talk Shop. This podcast is for product businesses where I speak to both retail buyers and brand owners about what it's really like to start and grow a retail business. I'm Therese, and my mission is to help you build and scale a profitable product business through wholesale. And today I'm going to be joined by Freya and Jake from Studio Wald. Freya and Jake met while studying a degree in 3D design, and they now have 3 kids and a busy Leeds city centre studio where they compile or make all their products. All the paper products are printed and finished in England, mainly in their home county of Yorkshire, either with 100% recycled or FSC paper, and all their products are made with attention to care and detail and patterns and processes. And Jake and Freya has been on the podcast before, so I'm really excited to have them back. It's been a few years, and to hear about how their business has grown. And I know for a fact that quite a few of you guys wanted to hear from them. And when I speak to newer product-based, kind of paper-based businesses, quite often they are one of the brands that they look up to. So this is going to be really exciting.
Well, thanks for having me. Hello. Yeah, it's nice to hear that people know of us. We never really think of it like that, do we? We just go about what we do. And we always used, I suppose, it makes sense. We always started out and there was brands that we were like, oh, look, that's what we'd like to be. And we're quite a few years down the line, so it makes sense that there are people starting now and thinking the same thing as we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you're probably stocked in a lot of the independents that they want to be stocked in, so they see you everywhere. So that's really exciting. But if they don't, for those of those who are listening, who maybe don't know about your business, when did you start?
When was it, you think? This incarnation of it would have been like 2017, I would say. We sort of dabbled in wholesale in the years before that, didn't we, under a whole other name? I think we probably covered that in the other podcast.
I think so, yeah.
As what you see now with the collection of products and direction that it's all gone, it was 2017, so that's 5 years. Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah. And how many stockists do you have now, do you think?
We've got a lot. 300? That shows how much Ray knows. Well, we've been stocked in as many as 1,000. Keeping up on that side of things. She's involved in packing the boxes and sending them out. We've got a nice stockist list on our website, and on there's probably about 400 in the US and the same again in the UK. But that doesn't take into account all the stockists that we have online as well. So yeah, obviously they're not live stockists, but we have worked with over 1,000 now.
So it must be quite a few hundred that probably buy regularly too then.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of all the ones that you recognise the name of regularly.
How has the business grown? Like, what do you think has contributed to like you growing it? Because I think when we spoke last, you were probably at like 100, something like that, right? So what have you done to like allow that it's enabled the business to grow like this?
I think part of it's joining Fair, the online sort of trade show website. That's opened us up to America, which is obviously a huge market.
Yeah,
I think had we joined that when we last spoke on this, or maybe we were just in the process of doing it?
I feel like you were on Abound because that was like the first one you went on, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd say definitely Fair's transformed things in the last couple of years. They've definitely risen to the top of the wholesale marketplace and taken out all the competitors, and they're the ones that all the orders come through, aren't they?
Yeah, so even the stockists that we had before will go through Fair now.
Yeah, a lot of our stockists.
So it's quite a good platform to have as a wholesale website, really.
And do you find that the UK buyers also buy on there? Do you find?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of our stockists we had before that we used to deal with directly have slowly moved over onto it. And thankfully, a lot of those stockists, we were able to like link them to it, and so that we don't end up charging the commission. They are good with that. If you ever show them proof of, if you have been charged commission on an order, you say, we worked with this person before, and they just take that commission off, and then it's never added again. And so in that respect, it does work like a wholesale website. And as we went on to Fair, we were talking a lot about needing to build a wholesale website. And I think I even spoke to you about that as a thing we should do. But we haven't, once Fair came in, it kind of took that place. We still have our PDF catalogue that we update and we send in emails, which I think is an important thing. But as a place to buy it online, Fair's been good.
I think it's nice to have a PDF catalogue as well, right? Because if someone contacts you and they don't want to register on Fair quite yet, or they don't have a Fair account, and also more touch points, I suppose.
Lots of retailers who don't like to use Fair. Bigger retailers can't use Fair. There's lots of galleries and things. They might be the buyer for the gallery. They don't have access to a credit card that you'll need to, be inputting to buy the order through Fair. So they need to create purchase orders. So they're not using Fair. So you need those other things like the PDF catalog in place so you can present the products to those people.
And in terms of like to be able to scale and deal with more wholesale people, I'm guessing, I feel like maybe you had hired someone part-time when we last spoke, but what's the team looking like now?
There's 4. One of them's full-time, 3 part-timers, so.
Yeah, Shirley, who was with us when we maybe spoke to you, had recently came on board. She moved back to Ireland, so we thought we'd lost her for a while, and she was amazing. She actually has stayed involved, and even though she's living over there, she still helps us. She does all like emails, invoices, updates, things like the stockist map that I mentioned here. She's really good at that side of things. So
having somebody to do that kind of thing saves us hours and hours and frees us up to grow the business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to get bogged down in all that stuff, like just updating the catalogue for Fair, the website.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot, yeah. Yeah,
but it's also the sort of thing no one needs to be in the studio to do. Like they could do it remotely. So that's brilliant that she's still there.
Yeah, it's great. I speak to her, once a month. We have a chat on the phone to catch up, and then she's just always tinkering away, keeping things like that tidy and organised, and keeping on top of emails and things. All the orders that don't come through Fair, she'll help create the invoices on Xero for, and she's a big asset. But the team in who are here daily are great, and it's what we used to do all the time, and we still do it, but me less so. Just making the products, compiling them, packing boxes.
Yeah. And now, how do you divide up things now? Like, do you focus more on product now? How do you divide things up
between the two of us?
Yeah,
I tend to do a sort of workshop base, so I help with that, the making and the sending out of orders, and sort of deciding what's going to happen when and what's priorities. And then you deal a lot more with the production. So
it takes up a huge amount of time.
You're often on the phone to the printers talking about paper samples.
It's amazing how much of my life is spent doing that. So I enjoy it, making sure that everything's coming in and what we're making is the quality it should be. We don't have a humongous range of products, but it's amazing just how many little elements that you sort of build up and that you need. And then every week it's always like, oh, look, we're running out of... We don't have maybe we should scale an inventory that's all digitalized. But we've tried to look at that in the past, and it's really hard when you have like a product like the flower press that's got a few different things within it. And then you've got, say, with the packaging, you'll have the packaging board, and then you'll have a sticker that goes for the photo on the back, and then you'll have another gold sticker. To have all that in some sort of digital spreadsheet just didn't work. So it's our inventory a lot of the time is just keeping an eye on things.
Oh, it's run out quick, let's say.
Yeah.
And I guess because you have a studio rather than a warehouse, it's not like you can make up like 2,000 and just keep taking from that, right? I guess you have to watch space-wise what you make up too.
Yeah, we've always
make it all to order, really. If an order comes in, we'll grab all the elements, and that's what the team will do. They'll grab the elements, put them together, clean them up, package them up. So there's not really anything ever sat on shelves.
I know. I suppose I always envisaged, you'd get to this point that we'd have changed the way we make things, and that we'd have shelves that were stocked with hundreds of products, all fully made all the time. But it's never worked out that way. And maybe we'd be using a fulfillment centre or something like that, and we've spoken to them, but it's never really fit the way that we make our products, I don't suppose.
Yeah, you do have a lot of components, like just your wall calendar. Like, how many components is in that, I guess?
And, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5,
7, 8,
5,
9.
yeah,
10,
about 7.
10 with the stickers
with the packaging and the stickers, you're hitting about 10. Nothing big.
So I suppose it's harder to do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's partly to do with making things in the UK that we couldn't say like, right, we're going to make 1,000 pinboard calendars. So now let's make that 1,000 pinboard calendars fully compiled and send them to a warehouse to be held as stock to sell. If, you kind of make it to order a bit, because that's the more economical way of keeping things running, isn't it? And prioritize making the stock that needs to be made at certain times. You know what I mean?
And I guess with your flower presses, you have like the inside components are the same, right? But the outside with the different designs are different. So I guess that way you don't have to keep as much. You can keep a lot of the same inside bits and less of the outside bits. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we do. Yeah, we try to be clever with how we do that. We produce at quite large scale of components, but then we can split them up into versions. That's kind of, I suppose, a good tip if you were somebody. I mean, it's quite obvious if you were making greetings cards or something. Try and produce them in a process like digital that you could say, please, can I order 10,000 and split it up into a bunch of versions, and then you only end up with 500 of each one or something. But by producing that large volume, you've cut the unit price down considerably, rather than just saying, I'll order 500 of this design, please, this week, 500 of that one next week.
Yeah.
And we do that the same with like the flower press wood. Just recently, we ordered towards 30,000 bits of wood. So they just all turned up, didn't they?
Was that scary?
Yeah, it's scary.
I've got a good picture of Freya. Maybe we should put that somewhere of her at the end of it, because we couldn't get it all up here into our two spaces, so it just filled the whole length of a long corridor downstairs in the studios.
Wow.
First delivery.
That was the first delivery. Yeah.
It's just amazing how well the flower presses has done.
Yeah, it is. I think. I don't know. We always question what's made it such a successful product. I think partly it's right time, right place with the sort of way things have been evolving and the trends towards houseplants and gardening, indoor. But that sort of shop, and it appeals to a wide range of shops.
Yeah, it's an activity.
Packaging too, I think.
Yeah.
The ones that were available before you guys did it were kind of like for children and not very nice.
That was always
packaged, I suppose.
That was the starting point, wasn't it? It wasn't that we knew we weren't reinventing the wheel or anything, but if we can recreate this product in a more interesting, contemporary way, then and it's worked. It's brilliant. Yeah.
So how do you manage your stockists now? Because you have so many. So how do you keep in touch with them? How do you prioritize who you keep in touch with? Like, do you have any tips for people?
If we send out newsletters, we don't bombard people in any respect. We've been sending a few more now because it's festive season, but we do send them as, through Gmail as a bulk email. We kind of got to that size now where we can't, as nice it would be to send direct, specific emails to specific customers. We can't quite do that. So
we're not great on Instagram, but when we do go on, we like to like and share our stockists posts.
I see you do that. That's nice, isn't it?
We do that a lot. Yeah, we think that's one of the best. People present our products in fantastic ways all across the country and in the world now. So it's always nice to show that. We're always impressed with how well they're displayed in different retailers, aren't we? So
they look so different in different spaces.
Yeah. I think that's also something with your products is that they can fit into more like nature-based stores, more slow living stores, and more design-led stores. So you can be in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
What's the furthest, do you think? Like, what's the furthest away stockist that you have, do you think?
We've got an Australian one.
We've got Australia, Alaska. I remember seeing one going to Alaska and thinking that's a pretty...
Wow.
I remember their shop, it's sort of snow-covered mountains.
I guess they have a lot of nature.
It's like Hawaii.
Seaweed.
I mean, that's all fair, thanks to fair things like that. Hawaii, I remember that. I thought that was a far-flung place. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. Like, you know, different places like that. That's pretty awesome. So much has happened over the last few years. You bought your house. I know that, which is exciting. Like, what else has like growing your business allowed you to do?
Bought a van.
We did, yeah, which is a good way to transport 3 children around, and we're always filling it. All that stock that's downstairs at the moment is needing to get that van slowly but surely. So we get a good use out of that.
We went on a 5-week holiday, didn't we, as well?
Yeah. Work-life balance, and the way we've always tried to run things is kind of work in intensive periods like we're entering into now. Try and take good chunks of time out. You know, we've got 3 little children to spend time with them. So we did that this summer. We drove all around Europe, didn't we? For 5 weeks. Yeah, in the van. Yeah, we went down to Italy, northern Italy, and then came back up. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? That kind of quality of life to, you know, enjoy ourselves where we can.
I love that because, like, often when you speak to, you know, business owners, it's just so busy all the time and we forget kind of why we're doing it. But that just brings home why you're doing it, right? You're working together and then you've set up your business so that you can take time out.
We were saying last week as well that we actually don't think we want to grow any bigger. We're quite comfortable where we are.
It is a funny one.
We're at a nice sort of point, and sort of it feels natural to want to grow, but then when we thought about it, you know, it's quite challenging sometimes as it is, and it's nice to keep control over everything.
Yeah.
Just to keep that balance.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like...
It is something quite often. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's no one that says we have to grow, like, beyond what we want to grow, right? Like, I think that's perfectly fine. I know quite a lot of business owners that says similar things.
It's very tempting at times, isn't it? And we talk about things that we'd like to do, like growing the online sales more. We've never really put a lot of effort into that. But then you think on the flip side of that, if the online sales grew and we still had this volume of wholesale, we'd have to be employing more people to process those orders. And it just all, you know, the bigger it all gets, the bigger the stakes, the more stress, and the less you get that work-life balance that we're just talking about, that it all gets dedicated to work, because otherwise the wheels will come off, won't it? Yeah.
I wonder sometimes, you know, if growing a bigger business, always wanting to do more is like, I don't know, over hyped. It was you know, of course it sounds weird for me to say that, but like, not everyone needs to want to have a big business.
No, yeah, I know. And I think it goes against a bit of what, you know, always you hear in politics. Economy must grow all the time, everything grow. And so sometimes your natural inclination is, we've just got to be growing every year, grow. And I don't know, our turnover has grown yearly, and I don't know what I'll say if it drops loads.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't be saying the same.
I think it's different with like seeing, you know, growing and innovating. Like, I think to keep us the same level, you have to keep innovating, right? But doesn't mean that you have to. Sometimes businesses don't have to focus on the growth area. They can focus on maintaining too. And you might then change it as the kids grow. You might want more after a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe come back to us in 5 years and we'll be talking like, I don't know, what's the CEO of Amazon trying to take over the world?
But I have quite a few clients that, you know, their kids are a bit older, so they need them less. So they're like, actually, now I want to grow the business because I have, you know, they're in school and then they don't want to see me. So I have a bit more time or whatever.
Yeah, sure,
and they want to I don't know, pay for uni and all of that for their kids. So they want to grow it again.
Yeah, that I'm sure that will come across. But at the moment, life is very intense, as it is. 3 small children. One of he's 2, the youngest, so it's still incredibly full on. Just when we go home, there's not really like downtime. It's just go back and it's more stressful than it is at work, isn't it?
You come to work for rest.
Yeah, that's quite right. We do.
To talk to
at least
other.
quiet.
Yeah, we can talk to each other. Not have someone nattering at you. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you wish you would have known when you started out? Like, any tips?
I suppose like feeling like everything had to be perfect and ready and beautifully photographed before you ever released anything, and everything sort of fully resolved. We definitely we're a bit more organic with just designs coming quite quickly and releasing them quickly. And that we have got a good base of photos now, but there's a tip there, and you can build a stock of photos that maybe have like blank images. I know it's another example of greetings cards. It's easy to do it with, but that you can then apply designs onto. So you're able to be a bit more nimble and speedy. Whereas where we started out, I would think everything has to be made. We have to have the stock there ready to go. Whereas it's not like that nowadays, is it? Kind of release the catalogue, and as we're releasing it, the products are just getting into print. But before that point, you've been able to release it because you can edit the photos and get them ready, go to the shops and get them online. Yeah, I hope that's some sort of answer to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good one. I think people get stuck on images a lot. So having your own set of mock-up images, essentially, right?
Yeah, we still get lots of photos done. We have been able to go in and edit them and take things out and add them in Photoshop. Yeah. If you can use a bit of Photoshop, it's amazing how helpful it is to help you speedily create images that you can put into a catalogue or onto a website or fair without actually having that product designed, made and produced. And it also allows you to test it, doesn't it, as well? You can see how well that product's going to go down.
And it works well for wholesale because you can get pre-orders. I suppose like the general consumer sometimes want things a bit more instantly.
Yeah, I suppose it does definitely apply to the wholesale market, that format. Yeah, couldn't do it if we were selling retail.
How about any big or small business wins this year?
Well, having a good staff it's a small or a big win, I suppose, but having a good, as we were away in that period of time, we had good staff there that were keeping everything ticking along all the time, weren't they? And keeping the orders processed and keeping everything going out. We fell a bit behind on admin side of things, but we didn't get behind with order processing. So that was a good one. A small win for me is always, in terms of being involved in production all the time, is, getting something produced and it coming back in the hundreds or thousands and it being nice and perfect and as you want it. That's always very satisfying. We just recently got all the stock in for all the calendars and the diaries. And you can't always, if you litho print something, you can't always test print the colours before you've gone to print. So it's always a little bit of a punt, but the colours all came out really nice. That's always a small win.
Nice. And also because you sometimes print on like the kind of more recycled grey paper. It's even harder with colours, I'm gonna guess.
Definitely, yeah. With packaging, you can't. That's all litho printed. So anytime we go for a colour, it isn't, like I say, you can't, to test print that would cost you hundreds of pounds. So you just like almost as much as the job might cost to make a few hundred of them. So we just have to go for it, don't we, and hope that colour comes out. But we've worked with our printers long enough now that they know the aesthetic and the sort of colours that we want to achieve. Yeah. So
we quite often find that paper mills close down. The paper that we want to add is no longer available, so then we have to sort through some other options, and sometimes they don't always work out. Or the sample you see is different once it's got print on it.
Yeah, definitely print applies differently with different processes.
And do you work mainly with UK mills? Like, I don't know anything about that sort of side at all.
I think most of the mills are in Europe, actually.
Yeah.
And then it comes through the merchants, and then we just deal with the merchants and buy it from them. But
They probably don't even have them here anymore that much.
Not really paper mills. I mean, if there were, I think there'd be really premium papers. But I guess the brands that people know of, like GF Smith, we don't really work with those merchants and papers because if you want to try and make stuff and wholesale it, it's very expensive to get your margins.
Yeah, it's very fancy paper.
Yeah. So you've kind of got to find ways around it. And yeah, if you get a good printer and you can talk to the right people, they can find good alternatives that are still giving those qualities but are at a cheap price. Yeah, I mean, I guess like grey board used to be that sort of thing. It was a really cheap material, but it had all those textures and it was recycled. But the quality of that fell off a cliff, so we stopped using it. But quite know what happened.
I suppose that's also one thing that will keep, changing throughout your business.
So we've recently moved from using plywood to veneered MDF, the flower press. It's still just as strong and everything, but it's the war in Iraq, isn't it? So
not Iraq, Russia.
Russia. No, Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
The plywood comes from Russia.
Yeah.
It's all under sanction.
So that's sanctioned now.
Sanctioned.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Can't get birch ply.
That was last year that hit. We were very happy with our birch ply supply and it was all coming out nicely. All had to switch to veneered MDF. And I think that MDF actually is made in Ireland, a lot of it, which is good. And then it gets veneered with maple.
Oh,
but
nice.
Did you understand that it's what the problem is? Or has been. It can be a lot more prone to burning when it gets laser cut. This is our day-to-day, I guess, really what we're telling you about, isn't it? The detailed production that, keeping on top of the quality. Then we've got the other room now and one of us has to spend a lot of time like sanding and making sure all that wood's nice and clean so that it can be compiled products.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you need so many presses.
Yeah.
You go through such volume.
Yeah. But thankfully that batch actually that I just said, which is that's a small or a very big one, came and it was virtually burn free. I don't know how, because the batches of wood must change, but the last batch that we had, which was a smaller volume, needed a lot more sanding, and all this wood that just arrived is much better, isn't it? So fantastic. That is
a big win, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like the time you save there, especially if you expected it to come.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to do stuff.
I know, and I was spending loads of time trying to find birch plywood before we made this order. And, I found a supply, but people were telling me, that's been sneakily coming out of Russia through different merchants and stuff. So you don't need that. So nobody really was making it. I don't know. We're happy with the supply we have now got. It's good. We were happy with the last batch, to be fair. It was just a lot more labour intensive to sand the wood, getting it ready. Yeah.
And what do you think is like the general like feelings out there from your stockists? Because, you always, I mean, particularly this year, I think that we've heard about lots of shops closing down. Obviously, we don't hear as much about when the new ones open, but what's your year been like? How have your stockists fared, do you think?
We've definitely heard from a few stockists saying that they're closing their doors, but there seems to be new ones that pop up in their place. Yeah, you forget just how many places there are in Britain. And every little town has a gift shop, and one closes, another one opens, another person has a go.
There's always entrepreneuring people, aren't there, that have got a good idea that want to try. I think our year has been good. It's been quite steady overall. We had a good time of it over the summer. Fair summer market was really good. So it didn't really drop off like it might have done in the past over summer, which was a big relief.
Do you think that's because you have so many US stockists?
We didn't.
I think so.
Yeah, we didn't drill down into the numbers of who was ordering from where, but I'd say we kind of get half and half on the orders. And so it worked well that market over summer, and we've got a good flow of orders continually coming in now. So we're perfectly, it's just steady away, aren't we? We never feel like...
We never feel secure.
No, but I don't know if that's just the nature of running your own business. We're always like thinking it might all stop, because we know that the way everything is out there, and shops are struggling in places, and we are coming into the key period now, aren't we? So we hope people still want to buy products to put in them.
I'm sure they will. And I also think that, your price points are very, I don't know, recession proof, in the sense where it's nice gifts at affordable prices, right? So I
think that's what we've always tried to do, isn't it? We always hate putting our prices up. We do it. We've had to, with all that stuff with the wood that we were talking about, it increased the price a lot. So we've had to, slowly put up our prices a little bit at a time for the flower press and the pocket press. But a lot of the stationery based products we've just stuck the price as it always was, and just taken a bit of a hit on the margins, because I don't know, we just want to, like you say, we want to make sure that the products continue to be a price that people can afford.
We don't want to reduce the quality either, do we? We want to keep that quality.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but those sort of things, I feel like, I don't know, if we got complacent and we thought, okay, we got this now, like, maybe that's when it gets dangerous. Maybe we will always wonder, will we be able to, pay our mortgage next month, or maybe not next month, but in 6 months' time, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think
keeps us driven, I suppose.
I think that goes to the topic again of whether you're like a business or a person that thinks you want to grow and be massive. Like, it maybe if I listen to things about, businesses, and I think I was listening to things about billionaires, and like just the confidence and the belief in your business to think that if I just invest hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds now, it will transform next year. That's great. I don't think we're not those sort of people, are we? We're always steady away, just... the stakes have gotten bigger as things have grown, and we have to invest more and more, but we're always still measured, and don't go overboard. Just try and keep things steady away, really, isn't it?
Well, it's been great chatting with you. It's nice to hear that you grow, about how you grow in the business. It's nice, to hear that you have done it in, at a pace that works for you, and that you don't, that other things can be more important than growing to be a massive business. I think that's nice for people to hear. I think that lots of people will find that really inspirational, that, we don't have to, we're building our businesses for us.
I think when we started doing this, all we ever wanted to do was to be able to... I think I remember saying that when we first worked with you, we weren't at the point where it was paying us a really comfortable wage. We still had to do things on the side, and it's only the last few years that we've been able to buy our own house, and we've hit a lot of those goals. And to be able to pay ourselves a wage, and now to be able to employ other people and be paying them, is kind of more than we ever thought it would grow to it. So we're very happy with what it's achieved in that respect, aren't we?
That's amazing. And if people want to connect with you and buy your product after listening to this, how can they do that? Where can they find you?
Have a look on our website, and we've got a big stockist list there, so you might find a shop in your town.
StudioWald.co.uk is the website, and there's down at the bottom, there's a link to, in the footer you can see all the stockists there. Our Instagram is studio_Wald, and you can always email us if you're a shop and you want stuff, wholesale@studiowald.co.uk. We can send you the catalogue, or you can go look at it on Fair, can't you, if you wanted to buy things through there. Yeah.
But I suppose if they're going to buy through Fair, it's better that they use your link.
Right, yeah. You're correct. Come to us first,
Actually, if you're a buyer listening, it's always better for the brand if you go to them first.
Yeah, that is definitely a top tip. Yeah. Just send us a quick message and we'll send you the link, and then that saves us the commission, and we can have because we don't know where a lot of the stockists that come organically through Fair come from. They might have found us somewhere else. having heard about somewhere else. And if that's the case, then you are within your rights there to not have to pay further commission. So
yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. For everyone who's listening, I hope that you enjoyed the episode and that you're enjoying this season. You can watch it over on YouTube, and you can listen to it on all your the popular podcast platforms. And the podcast will be back next Monday with another episode. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for having us.